Hi, this is Jane, your boomer babe, and we're going to talk about anger management today. Did you ever come home at night and you were so ready to beat somebody's head in? Well, here's a way to get out your stress. This is anger management chicken. It is chicken cutlets, and you can prepare them ahead of time and put them in the freezer should you so desire. I take a big gallon bag and put about a tablespoon of water in them, and then take your large chicken breast, half chicken breast. It's good if you partially freeze it, and then when you do that it'll be easier to cut in half. And you cut it in half, put it in a Ziploc bag, and then we are going to proceed to beat this thing. Don't hit it with the ridge edge, you want to hit it with flat. Now you can do it with a frying pan or rolling pin or whatever you have that's around. I happen to have had this for about 1,000,000 years. So you just start beating it into submission, and you start from the center and work to the outside, because you can watch it spread, and if you're not careful you can shred it into a lot of pieces. So you want to do it pretty gently, or not, like this. And it has increased in size about 20%. I want to get it pretty much the same thickness throughout so it'll cook about evenly. I have been known, when I'm really upset, to shred it into little pieces, and it has to become cat food. So you don't want to do that. This one looks pretty good. And then you can flip it over, beat up the other side a little bit. And then, because you have a couple of tablespoons of water in this, it will slide out of here easily, and you can freeze it, throw it in the freezer, pull it out some night when you come home, and you'll be surprised how quickly it thaws. So we have one more. Now let's beat this thing into submission and get out all my aggravation, because my boss was a jerk today. Sorry. So it's coming. This looks pretty good. Now when you saute these, you can dip them in flour or egg wash. If you dip them in egg, you'll cook it like francaise. If you dip it in flour, you can get a little browned edge on it. But I generally like to cook these what they call blonde, which means at a medium to lower heat. It will cook through, but it won't be like shoe leather. It'll be very tender and delicious, which is what you want. Hi, this is Jane, your boomer babe, and this rendition of anger management chicken is going to be with curry sauce and curry cream sauce and white grapes. It's one of my favorites. It's a rendition. It's a little change up from a Sole Veronique with white grapes. I love the spiciness of the curry and the sweetness of the fruit. So let's crank this puppy up. And we defrosted the chicken cutlet in the refrigerator. Remember the bag with the little bit of water in here? Well, we don't need you anymore, so that's gone. And it's just starting. I'm going to put a smashed garlic clove in there just for flavor, and we'll take it out later. The pan has a little bit of butter and olive oil in it, so the chicken cutlet will cook in about maybe 5 minutes. And again, it is a very quick dinner, one of my faves. So I went to get some new curry powder the other day, because my curry powder was a couple years old and it really didn't look too hot. So I went to Savory Spice Shop, which is now all over the country, and I smelled all their curry powders, and I found one that is Middle Eastern and is called Ras El Hanout. And it has nutmeg, sea salt, black pepper, ginger, cardamom, mace, cinnamon, allspice, turmeric, and saffron in it. it just smells divine, and while it's still considered like a curry powder, it's more Middle Eastern. But use whatever you have. Any kind of curry powder is probably going to be just fine. Okay, so we're going to take some of this Ras Al Hanout, and I wish you could smell this because it is yummy. And put it in the butter and olive oil and let it cook up. Pretty soon the whole house will smell like it. I like curry. I don't like a whole lot of it, but if I am breading something like fish, I will often put some curry powder in the breading, just a tiny little bit, just enough for a little color and a little flavor. And so people will say, what is that flavor? And I say, oh, secret. So anyway, here we go. The chicken has colored quite a bit. Let me see if you can see that. I don't know. But we're going to get rid of the color because I'm going to put cream in it right away. Heavy cream, a couple tablespoons, won't hurt you. You know, I always figure, I don't worry too much about fat. I probably should. But I figure that Julia Child probably ate at least a half pound of butter every day, and she lived to be 93, so I don't worry about stuff like that. So heavy cream as opposed to half and half. Do use heavy cream if you're doing something like this, because half and half will not cook down, and heavy cream will cook down in a New York minute. I see it's doing it already. Now, salt and pepper later, because you don't know how it's going to come out, especially if you're using something like chicken broth. As it cooks down, it gets saltier. So I usually like to wait for the last couple minutes. And the cream has reduced by about a third. And the chicken is probably already cooked. You can see. Looks pretty good and juicy. Yep. So, white grapes. I like the sweetness. The entire dish doesn't get sweet, just when you bite into the grapes, which is the best part. So here we go. And this is done. It's done. Dinner's on the table.